What's up guys, welcome back to Hypixel Skyblock, and today we'll be exploring the new Diana update, 6 months late. Quick editor's note, it's been 2 months since I recorded that intro because I've been busy with exams and went on a 1-month vacation out of the country, which means that it's been 8 months since the update dropped. It was actually released in November of last year and revamped the mythological ritual entirely, adding new mobs and items which we will explore today. And we will also get really lucky with the RNG drops that come with this update. If you like the type of content I make, please feel free to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when I upload next, and I'll see you in today's video. All the way back in November of last year, when the Diana V2 update just rolled onto the server, I went ahead and grinded out some materials needed for the update, such as the Stride Surfer shard as well as the Ghost shard, so I can combine it and create the Sphinx shard, which gives me 5 more tracking on Griffin burrows, meaning that I get a higher chance to spawn a elusive mob, including Minos Inquisitors. Speaking of attributes, I also maxed out the Snowfin, Silent Death, and Fish shards since I got them passively from placing traps. I also went ahead and did some Arachne and got myself a good amount of soul string. This is because some of the new crafting recipes use braided griffin feathers, which require soul string. The last item I prepared is going to be 6.5 stacks of enchanted gold blocks. This may seem like a ton of gold, but trust me, every single recipe uses it. Moving on to the experimentation table, I actually dropped a T7 book, which was Execute 6, and as you can see on the bottom left, it took me 180 tries from the last T7, which is basically 2 months ago. I also upgraded my Daedalus Blade with 2 perfect onyxes and a golden bounty for the Scavenger 6. I also pre-crafted the Challenger's armor as well as the equipment, but I probably won't be using this since I would prefer Mythos, but I don't have the fragments yet. But I actually still semi-maxed it out with some potato books as well as G6 P6 and some of the basic enchants. And I also did the same on my Crown of Greed. And I used Ancient for my armor and the Strengthened Reforge for my equipment. Right off the bat, I can actually feel an increase in the number of Minos Inquisitors I'm getting, since I was able to get my first Inquisitor in 50 burrows. The main thing we're looking for right now is going to be Chimera books as well as Minos fragments, so that we can craft the new spade, which will make the grind later on much faster. They actually increased the odds of dropping a Chimera, but I guess I won't be getting it from this one. Another item we need is going to be the Hilt of Revelations, which I just got. This is a new item that is used to upgrade your spades, which I did to the stone one right here, which is called the Arctic Spade. This upgrade is very important because it now allows us to dig up Mythos fragments that I was just talking about. I also leveled up some bestiary, including Inquisitor 17, the new mobs Cretan Bull and Harpy to 7, as well as the Nymph to 6. The last mob they added that you can get from the legendary Griffin is the Sphinx. This is an elusive mob that drops the brain food item, which is a consumable that gives you up to 5 tracking. And on the 400th burrow, I was able to get my first Mythos fragment. But don't worry though, the admins actually buffed the rates for the fragments later on. But for some reason, I couldn't get anything other than bestiary. One thing I have been doing though is black holing all the Cretan Bulls for their shard. This is just another common resistance attribute for defense. After that, I got more bestiary, and I even maxed out the bestiary for the Minos champion at 1000 kills. Another bestiary and 16 mytho fragments later, I am finally able to make the Deific Spade. Not only does it increase the max burrow length to 8, I will also have a higher chance to dig up Mythos fragments and braided griffin feathers. After that, I was able to level up to level 430 and got myself enough Minotaur shards to max out the attribute, which gave me 5 magic find against all mythological mobs. And finally, after 18 Minos Inquisitors, I was able to drop my first Chimera book since this update launched. And of course, the mandatory bestiaries, the first one being Sphinx 12 and the second one being Harpy 10. And somehow, not even 50 mobs later, I was able to drop a Minos relic. And this is probably the best thing you can get from Legendary Griffin, since Mythos relics are more expensive than Chimera books right now. This is probably because of the fact that they released the Hephaestus relic, which needs 3 Minos relics to craft. Another thing they added is the Daedalus' Note, which is a reforged stone for the spades that gives it 2 extra griffin burrows per chain. By applying this to my Deific Spade, I now have a max burrow chain length of 10. Something really random, I was able to finish all 5 of the spotlights I needed for all my Skyblock XP for the consumable. Something pretty cool was that I dug up 1,000,000 coins from one of my burrows and then proceeded to get Sphinx 13. And after that, I maxed out the Harpy shard for another 10 Skyblock XP. Since I wanted a lucky clover for my griffin pet, I went ahead and fished up some Carrot Kings, where I was able to get 2 lucky clover cores and 2 caster 6s, which I put on both of my rods. And for the lucky clover, I just used some enchanted emeralds and applied it to the griffin pet. And I think the magic find is working, since I dropped a brain food from a Sphinx, which I later doubled. On the next day, I was able to get Cretan Boy 11, Stranded Nymph 11, as well as Sphinx 14. After that, I traded in 24 stock of stonks for 8 golden fragments and used it on my Daedalus Blade. And for reference, I think my damage increased by 50% after I fragged it. Afterwards, I got 3 more bestiary levels, and then 12 minutes into one of my sessions, I got another Chimera book. And not even 10 minutes later, I dropped another Chimera book, which is probably the luckiest I've been so far with Diana. But then, on the very next day, 8 minutes into the session, I dropped another Minos relic. Honestly, I think the admins really buffed the rates for these RNG drops, since I've been getting a ton after the update. I feel like my RNG has been really good these past few days, since I got my last mythic rabbit I needed for Hoppity. I also went ahead and combined the 2 Chimera bugs to make a Chimera 2, and then combined it with my Daedalus Blade to get Chimera 3. Another thing I did was eat the 2 brain foods I got from the Sphinxes to get 2 more tracking. Continuing my luck streak, I actually dropped a Daedalus stick from a Minotaur. I feel like these have become more rare than other RNG items, especially when I dropped my 3rd ever Minos relic. Finally calming down from all these RNG drops, the event actually ended, and at the end I was able to get 68 Mythos frags, this much health, and this much of each pet item. And in the last chest, I have all the Chimera's books I dropped. I actually dropped 5 in total, and the 2 Minos relics, as well as the Daedalus stick I just showed you. Since I had an extra Chimera book in my storage, I was able to make a Chimera 3 book, and then combine that with my current Daedalus stick that has a Chimera 3 on it, which means I'm able to make a Chimera 4. With this, I'm up to 80% of my current pet's stats, which is more magic find and strength. One last thing I did was craft myself 2 braided griffin feathers, a Zog's anvil, and a Hephaestus anvil that uses up 32 Mythos fragments. which I combined the 3 Minos relics I have to make the Hephaestus relic, which increases all pet stats by 50%. And you probably already guessed, but this is going straight onto my golden dragon pet. With this pet item, I'm getting an extra 15 magic find and 75 more strength. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the episode. It's kind of weird that I went for Hephaestus relic before the mythic griffin, but I just thought that I wouldn't be able to take on the mythic mobs until I have better gear. If you disagree with this decision, please comment down below what you think of it, and if you like the type of content I make, please feel free to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when I upload next, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.